Good afternoon. I'm Beatrice Dosgheas. I look after sustainability for the Evergreen Garden Care group. Thank you for inviting me to this webinar. I'm going to present in about 6 slides how we are managing plastic in the group. So what you see here, hopefully, is the market where we operate. So we are the #1 worldwide garden care product. Plastic is critical for us for use, storage, safety, and shelf life of our products. So we sell compost in plastic bags, we sell control and fertilizer in plastic bottles, and our lawn spreaders are made of plastic. And you have on the right-hand side the brands under which we sell our products. So how do we look after plastic across our supply chain? So we look from material coming in to material coming out. So material coming in, obviously, we got our empty packaging, so films, plastic films or plastic bottles. We also receive piece of equipment and other material on plastic pallets, and we've got shrink wrap films. So most biggest spend is our incoming empty packaging. What packaging do we have or plastic do we have in the factories? Actually very little, some plastic hoppers, but most of the conveyor belts are rubber, so very little plastic, so a smaller spend. And then outside the business, so our biggest spend is taxes on plastic, and then taxes on type of recycling and upgrading we are trying to do on our products. So we raised awareness across the business, doing a review, identifying biggest plastic spend, the waste and the taxes, that involves a number of departments. We also looked at public impact and what is perceived, how our brand is perceived, how our product is perceived by consumer, customers, social media. So your big spend might be one type of plastic, but the impact on the market might be different. So you have to consider what has been identified by your consumers or customers as being potentially a problem. And that has to be taken into account in the projects. And the third one is plastic risk or benefits and the legal requirement. And again, that's a different team looking after that particular list. So once you've got one list, you do a prioritization based on spend or the biggest financial risk. And then there's an allocation of resources, time, KPIs on a tracker or a plastic register. So then really, what can you do? So it's looking at incoming plastic. Do you have a choice of type of incoming plastic? Is there an availability of recycled plastic? What percentage of recycled plastic can you incorporate? What does the science say? What does the availability say? So you're depending on the research from inside or external research and material availability, which is a big problem, for example, for us, because we would like all our plastic bottles and plastic film to contain 100% recycled plastic, but there's no availability. There's a lot of taken by the food industry, and there's not actually enough material available to us. And then at the end of life of your product, where does the plastic go to? Is it going to general waste? So in our case, we've got a zero to landfill policy for our site. So everything we manage on site is recycled. But for our consumers, for example, there's a piece of legislation that says that concentrate bottles should not be put in the recycling bin. You can put concentrate bottle of household product, of bleach and desktop, etc., but not for gardening products. So we are doing a piece of advocacy or lobbying to change that piece of legislation based on science facts and new evidence. So if you manage to get your red arrow as small as possible and your blue arrow as big as possible, then you know your business is in a full circular economy. So how do we go from continuous improvement to focus plastic? So we started with continuous improvement. Sustainability is a new word for continuous improvement, really. So what type of plastic do we use? What do we need? Do we want to change? Can we change? And having a tracker of our project. So that's, again, across all departments. So at the next step, I've put the TESCO 4Rs, which is a good tool and a good practice, which is remove, reduce, reuse, and recycle. This is used in R&D mostly, in procurement as well. So we use supplier expertise, we use a lot of external expertise, and obviously we aim for 100% recycled plastic content, but with, as I said, lack of availability. And then we decided 2 years ago to go for a circular economy system certification, which help us to get every department focused on their role and their impact in the circular economy. We also decided to get carbon neutral, which again helped the focus. And now we are going for certification against the responsible plastic management standard, which will make the focus on plastic even tighter. So what makes a difference for us? A strong leadership on working on our plastics at group and supply chain level. So we've got KPIs linked to sustainability, obviously, but also linked on different type of plastic application. We've got a strong R&D. We are in a very heavily regulated industry where our product content, so the garden care products, are approved at the same time as the packaging at European and national level. So we can't change the packaging as we want. We need reapproval by regulatory bodies every time we make a change. So we have strong liaison with suppliers to anticipate what the legislation will be and the new technologies, and that is essential to us. Obviously, we've got good Excel spreadsheets, mostly in procurement and R&D. And we've also got an SAP system that helps us to do a mass balance between what's coming in and what's coming out. We learn from the experts outside. So I mentioned Tesco again, but they are doing an excellent job with their suppliers to help anticipate legislation, especially in the UK, to help R&D, and they are very good support. To like them or hate them, but they are doing a very good job on especially on plastic at the moment. We refer to university. We refer also to the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, and now we've got the responsible plastic management standard to help us. And then last point, but important to us, we've got a very strong consumer insight department to understand exactly what consumer need, what consumer want, how we can anticipate change in demand. And we've got also a strong digital team looking at social media, how is perceived our packaging, what is expected, how it's communicated, and that has a very strong impact on the decision on marketing and R&D. So the tracking of the media impact is important. And that's it in a nutshell. So if you got any questions, I'll be happy to take them. Thank you again.